Microsoft says they want us to be able to do these things. They want us to be able to describe service accounts.
Yep.
They want us to be able to identify the challenges of using standard user accounts for services. They want us to be able to describe, manage service accounts, and they want us to be able to explore how to configure managed service accounts, and they also want us to describe group managed service accounts. Yep. Okay. So let's start with the first one, describing service accounts. So what's
Yep.
what's like your understanding of service accounts and what they are for?
Yeah, when you run a service on a server, it
Mhm.
can run under a specified account,
Yeah.
like a local machine,
Mhm.
or you can also use a domain account.
Mhm.
And there can be problems with these sorts of
Yeah.
accounts. Why Microsoft invented the managed service accounts,
Yeah.
and afterwards the group managed service
Mhm.
accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think the most important part is that every service has to run under some sort of account, and normally you would use some built-in account.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
So you
former
brought up
times,
an
like in
important
the
point.
2003 area,
Yeah.
that's like local system, local service, or network service
Good
with some
one.
sort of built-in local account, which a
So
service can run.
good one. So you say every service has to run with an account.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, I mean, these are good points. That we can use built-in accounts. Built-in accounts. And you mentioned three of them, which are important. It's a local system, which is the second built-in account that we can use.
Local service
Yep, local service. And what's
and
the last one that we can use?
network service.
Good one, network service.
Mm.
And what's like the differences between these three? So local system, what's like the difference between using local system or local service or network service?
Mm, there is a difference between the privileges.
Good one. Yeah,
Uh,
very good one. I mean, I mean, it makes it easier because I can tell that you're really prepared. Good one. Uh, the main difference is the privileges. So what are the privileges that we have for local system?
I think local system got the broadest privileges
Yep,
you can get.
yep, very good one. Very high privileged.
Yeah. I think this account has even more privilege than the local administrator account.
Very great one. Even more
Some,
privileges.
sometimes there are some hacks where you can run a CMD as local system, and then you got even more privileges than the normal administrator account. Like
Yeah,
when you're looking for some areas in the registry where
yeah,
Microsoft doesn't want to let an administrator go, you can use the local system to go
yeah,
to.
yeah. Nice one. Very excellent. What about local service?
Um, I just know that this account has less
Mhm.
privileges, but yeah
Yeah, you're right.
I
It's less
never
privileges.
really yeah I can't say how much
Yeah.
less privileges yeah, and I think it also something
So
there's
that,
also
yeah,
a difference between using this sort of account in the network, because a local system uses a computer account in
yeah,
the Active Directory with a dollar sign, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
And the local system uses some other sort of connection in the network.
Yep. Has a computer on the network. Good one. So actually, like local service, the privileges is just equivalent to the privileges of a local user account.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's like
Uh,
it doesn't have that much privileges. It's just equivalent to like the local user account. What about network service?
mm,
Mm.
yeah, so network service also has less privileges, of course.
Yep.
And I think there's a difference there's a difference in connecting to other computers.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, there must be a difference, but
Yep.
I'm not quite sure
Yeah.
what
So
it is.
actually, network service it has a bit more privilege than local service. But the difference is that when network service, when it's connecting to a network resource,
Mm.
it uses the computer account. So whenever it wants to access any network resource, it uses the credential of the computer account to
Okay.
access it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so
So
uh, uh,
yeah,
so
yep,
locally it has
more
less
privilege
privileges. Okay, it
than
has
the
more privileges than the local service, but less privileges than the local system.
system. Yes,
But when connecting to a network resource, it uses
it uses the computer account. So you know your
the
domain.
computer account.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know your computer has an account in the domain. So it
Yeah.
uses your computer
Yeah.
account to connect it. Whereas
Yeah.
local user, what does local user use when connecting to network resources?
Mm,
It uses null. Yeah,
like anonymous? Ah, null.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly like anonymous, an
Uh,
account with no credentials. So basically, the only thing you can access if there's something to access that doesn't require credentials.
oh wow.
So that's what local service use. So that's why it's local service. It's not meant for network service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whereas network service will allow you to access, resources on the network, but when connecting to the network, you use the computer account. Whereas
Mm,
this one is just local system. It's not just service. Like you
mm,
said, it has deep registry access, even more privileges than a local admin account. So those like the differences between the main three built-in service accounts that we can use.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's go a bit further. So the
mm.
next thing that Microsoft want us to be able to do with this module is this, which we have to scroll down for, is to identify the challenges of using a standard user account. So what are the challenges? So basically we're like, okay, we don't want to use local service or network service
Mm.
or any of those built-in accounts. We want to create some account that our services can run with. So one way that, yeah,
Like an account in Active Directory.
yeah. So like an account in Active
Yo.
Directory. So what Microsoft is saying is
Uh,
that we must be able to identify what are the issues with using this account
yeah.
for service account.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally you have to give this domain user a password, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And if you change this password, the service will break. So
Good one.
this is one
Good one.
challenge.
So let's put
Other
that down.
problem is that you can't change the password so easily
Mm-hmm.
because when you use this account in a lot of machines for a lot of services
Yeah.
and you don't document what you are doing,
Yeah.
you can run into problems when you are changing the password.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So if account is used in if the account is used in multiple servers and then you change the password, you must update it on all the servers that are using the service account.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm. So must be updated on all services that use it. So to avoid that, many administrators will actually go and say password doesn't expire. But what's like the risk of you saying password doesn't expire?
Yeah, you can use password. Doesn't have to expire,
Yeah,
but yeah, it can be hacked
yeah,
more easily, right?
exactly.
Because
Yeah,
it's just a security issue.
yeah. So password don't expire is a security risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people say things like, any password can be hacked
Mm.
if given the the time to do it. So if you
Yeah,
got like the the right amount of time to do it, eventually it can be hacked.
yeah.
So yeah,
There's also another problem. So you can also trying to guess a password, and afterwards the account is locked out.
yeah,
And so I just need to know the name of this account,
yeah,
and afterwards the service on the server would stop working,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I
So
don't need to know much to do some sort of denial of service attack.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, good one. Oh, good one. Very good point. So very good one. So let's put that under security risk to say
Mhm.
an
Yeah.
attacker can use multiple passwords to lock the account out. Very good
Mm.
point. Very, very good point. Causing denial of service. Let's just mention this one with regard to network service account. We said when you're connecting to a network resource, it uses the computer account.
Mm.
So one thing to note is that what this means is that if you're trying to connect to a network resource and you want to be able to use network service to access it, you must go under the computer account in Active Directory and
Mm.
add it to a group that will give it access to that network resource. Otherwise, you won't be able to access that network resource.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you
yeah,
have to add the computer account of the group to the NTFS
yeah,
and share.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
okay.
must
Hmm.
be given the right network permission. So that's one thing to remember. Must be given the right network permission. Otherwise, because it's trying to use the computer account, it won't work.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, so that's like the issue. So we got password changing, password doesn't expire, which can lead to security issue. I mean, the main thing is just extra administration because we just have to do extra administration. If we change it, we have to remember to go change it on everything. If we forget to change it on one of them, it tries to authenticate multiple times, it locks out the account. All of a sudden, all the services are failed and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just extra administration.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other thing? I can't think of any other thing.
Mm.
I can't think of any other thing.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's move
same
to
for
the
me.
next one. Let's move to the
Yeah.
next one that Microsoft said that we must know. So Microsoft said, okay, the solution to this one is we've got managed
Mm.
service account. So they want us to be described. So they want us to be able to describe what managed service account gives that standard
Mm.
user accounts don't give. So what exactly do we get with managed service account?
Yeah, you have to change the password. Changes the password automatically. I think
Yeah.
the default is 30 days or so.
Yep.
So
Good
it
one.
uh, it works like a computer account.
Good one. Um, yeah.
Um,
Looks like a computer account. Yep. You're
yeah.
right.
I think it cannot logged out. I read that this account cannot be logged out. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but it's a good point. I've actually not thought about
Yeah.
that before,
Yeah.
but it's something to look into. It can be locked out. So I'll just put a star next to it, showing that I have to look into that.
Yeah.
So it can be locked out. Yep. So yeah, I mean, you're
Uh,
absolutely right. You really nailed it with this one. So it works like a computer account. And
yeah.
how does a computer account work?
Yeah, it's an account in Active Directory,
Yeah.
and it also has a password, but the
Mm-hmm.
password changes automatically.
Yeah.
This is the difference between a user account and a computer account.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So exactly. So password is okay. No, sorry, it's not typing. Password is auto maintained. Yeah. So it works basically just works like a computer account. So it gives us like a mixture of the user account and the computer account. We can use it sort of like a user account, but then works like a computer account, which is it's automatically managed, but we can use it for services.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good one.
Yeah.
So any
Perhaps
other?
it's
Yeah, carry on.
yeah, it's stored in an Active Directory under managed service accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one specialized organizational unit.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's
and
stored account OU. Yep.
yeah, and I think Microsoft is, as I read something in the documentation about simplified service principal name management,
Yep.
but I'm not quite sure why it is simplified.
So it's something that will yeah.
But it seems to become simpler, so yeah, I guess it's correct. But I'm not quite sure why this is simpler. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. But let's talk about this one first. So
Perhaps one thing to manage service accounts. I think a managed service account can just be used for one computer. So you cannot use a managed service account for different computers at once.
yeah, very good one. Can only be used for
Uh,
one computer. And then there's another thing to remember that managed service accounts can only be used for computers that are running Server 2008 out2
yeah,
uh, and upwards.
yeah.
So be used for computers running Server 2008 out2 and upwards. Yep, so very good point. Yeah.
Mm,
So you're right. It cannot be used between multiple computers. You can't use it on
mm,
one computer and then use it on the other computer.
mm.
Yeah. Okay. So what next? Is there any other thing that we need to know about managed service account?
Mm.
Yeah.
From the
Um.
theory perspective.
mm, I. Yeah. Oh, but like things like
What
the
about the .NET Framework 3.5?
yeah, I read about that. So
Yeah,
so that's like
I
um
think you need it on the computer where the service is running the managed service account.
yeah,
Yeah,
but that
yeah,
only applies to 2008 because about 2012 by default has .NET 4.5 installed.
yeah. Uh,
At least that's what I read somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how it is on a Windows Server 2012,
hmm
but I read about the requirements about the .NET Framework
Yeah, yeah.
3.5.
So I think yeah, you can check that out. I think this one .NET Framework 2.3.5 applies to Server
Mm,
2008 auto.
yeah. And it can be a real hassle installing it on a Server 2012.
You've done it before, right? You've said
Yes, yes, yes.
I
It's
tell you one day I was working at work. We
yeah,
had we had like a new application that the warehouse of our company. So they use
yeah,
this third party application that we're trying to, set up a new
yeah.
server for. So then we had like the third party engineer come and the application required .NET Framework 3.5 and I was, going on
Mm,
PowerShell and doing all this. And one of the other system admins where I work came to my back and said, "You're doing .NET Framework, right?" So yeah. He said, "I
mm,
could tell."
yeah,
He
yeah.
said, "I could
It's
tell
so
that,
hard.
man."
Yeah,
It's .NET
yeah.
Framework.
I also tried it. It just doesn't accept the sources, yeah,
Mm,
and that's the problem. And afterwards, it turns out when you install a special update on the server, you first have to uninstall the Microsoft update, and afterwards you are allowed to install the .NET Framework 3.5.
I didn't even know that.
Wow, it took me like 3 hours or so to figure that
Yeah,
out.
but
Normally it's just like, oh well, it's a feature. Okay, yeah, okay, next, finished.
yeah, by the way,
Not with .NET Framework. Uh,
yeah,
uh,
it does. By the way, the thing that we're doing last week for the VPN one,
mm,
guess what the
mm,
problem was?
mm.
The
Uh,
problem was the
was it
application.
.NET?
No, not that. No, not that. Not that. Was
Mm.
the application that we were using. Sometimes
Okay.
these emulation and simulation applications they mess up sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes. So the switch that we had wasn't
Mm.
working properly. So I
Okay.
had to delete it and then add a new switch, a different switch, because eventually I was not like, what's going on? So I now went and started, because on that application you can use Wireshark. So I now
Mm.
started Wireshark and now started capturing the packet. And if I do a
Mm.
ping to like the gateway of the interface of the VPN
Mm.
server, if I do a ping, it wasn't even getting to the VPN server.
Mm.
So I was not like, so I was not like, what's going on? Like, is anything, what's going on that is not even getting to? So eventually I deleted the switch, added a different switch, and boom.
Okay.
It's like,
Okay.
so that switch wasn't functioning properly. So that was the problem.
Wow. And was it a hardware switch or a virtual switch?
No, it's a virtual switch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like the
Yeah. Yeah.
GNS3 default layer 2 switch. So it wasn't
Okay.
working properly. So eventually I had to delete it, add a new one, and then it was working. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do a bit of stuff here. So
Yeah.
how do we create managed service account?
Um, I think you have to use
So actually, let's
you
let's
have
go
you
straight
have to
here.
use PowerShell. So
Let's go
it's
straight here. So let's
yeah.
go password. So you've got the mouse control. So let's try to. So if you try to create, a service account for this server here.
Yeah. First of all, we have to create the root key of the domain.
Yeah.
Have you done this in the already or?
No. No.
Okay. Okay. So this would be the first step, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to go to the domain controller,
hmm
um, and you have to have the Active Directory module installed. But this is 2012. Should have installed the
But
module
here's
already.
my question. My question is
Yeah.
this: do we need the root key for managed service account or just grouped service managed account?
That's a good question. I don't know. um, I think any managed service account.
I
But
think it
yeah,
grouped just for grouped
yeah,
service
I'm not.
account.
We can try. So
Yeah.
perhaps, yeah, okay, just okay. So okay, so normally we would install the KDS root key, but then yeah, let's try do it without.
So the first thing
Um,
we'll do is we add the service
I
account.
think it's new, right? New.
Okay, yeah, this leads us to a good one. So how do you figure out, the command in PowerShell?
So okay, yeah. If I had totally no idea, I would do something like
Yeah, good one. Very good one.
dash command
Yeah,
star star and
good
something
one.
like
Very good.
service A or so.
Yeah, very good one. I'm
And
absolutely perfect. So let me
yeah,
let me give Jose the key so that Jose can join the server too. So
yeah.
so no problems, man. No problems, Jose. I mean, believe me, man. With Sven, the thing is just going really quickly and really nice. Like because Sven is fully prepared, man. Which makes it nice. Yeah.
But just on this topic.
It's good. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Jose, that's the ID and the key. So carry on, carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So we just found the PowerShell commandlet
Yeah,
for installing a new Active Directory service account.
yeah.
Um, okay. Um,
New AD
I
service
think
account.
you have to give the name.
Mm-hmm.
What name shall we use? Like
Let's just call it, yeah.
MSA or so,
Yeah,
like
good one.
managed service account.
Yep. Yep.
And
Do that.
then I think you always have to give him a DNS host name. But I'm not quite sure why you need
Not
this.
really. We don't have to give the DNS host name.
Yeah?
No,
Okay.
we don't. We don't have to give the DNS host name.
Okay.
So
Then
actually, we just need But again, I think it's disabled by default. So you can
okay.
actually enable it from here also using
Okay.
the enabled switch. So
Okay.
yeah, new AD service command account name enabled equals true or enabled true. So we do
hmm
hyphen
Ah,
enable.
it's like,
Yep. And then
is it? Oh,
yeah,
but
if you
tab completion doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
No.
Ah,
Enabled.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then
Dollar
true. Yeah, good one.
true.
True, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's like yeah.
You need a DNS host name.
Oh, like hold on, like let's see.
I think this is new from the I think the new ADS service account is a commandlet for installing a group managed
Group,
service account and a managed
yeah,
service account. Yeah.
that's thank you.
Yeah.
That's like the so actually we need the root key. So you're
Mm.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. You're absolutely right. So I think we need to create the root key
Okay.
first. So 2012 actually it will or 2000 I'm not sure if it's 2012 or 2012 how to if you use new AD service account it's actually trying to create a group managed service account, not a normal managed service account. So
Yeah.
that's like yeah, sorry, my bad. So that's like but that's the reason why we're doing stuff like this. So actually, so when we're trying to create it, it's actually trying to create a group managed service account.
Okay.
So actually,
So
let me see, let me bring that up. Let's see.
I think KDS
Mm,
root key. I think it's and there is a switch
yep,
effect. Yeah.
yeah,
But this actually, when I run this command, it would
mhm,
take like 10 hours or so.
yep,
And I think there's, wait
yep.
a second,
So yeah,
effective
yeah.
time.
So I have
There's
the
some
syntax for
sort of
me. Yeah,
PowerShell
I can call the syntax for you. So the syntax is get date, yeah.
good
And then
date.
yeah, you can close that bracket and then dot yeah, add as minus 10. Um minus 10.
So, and this,
You're missing you in the as.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yep, and then good one.
Yeah.
Very good one, man.
Okay.
Very good one. So in
So,
that
and
case,
this,
yes,
this
yeah.
hack should
So yeah,
create this KDS root key at once.
yeah. So just to explain to Oze, so Oze doesn't feel lost. So
Yeah.
Oze, we're discussing managed service accounts, right? So we're
Okay.
discussing. So basically, Sven is demonstrating to us how to create managed service accounts in Server 2012. And by default, Server 2012, when we try to create a managed service account, it's going to try to create a group managed service account. And do you know the differences between the two?
Um, well, I know a service account is for specific applications and things, but I'm not sure what the group, I don't even think
Yeah,
I'm.
Sven can help you with that. So Sven, what's the difference between group managed service account and managed service account? So you can explain
Um,
to Jose.
yeah, yeah, you can use a managed service account on a computer to run. So a service on a computer can run on a managed service account,
Yeah.
but you can only use one machine for one managed service account.
Hmm.
And for when you take a group managed service account, you
Hmm.
can use it on several machines.
Yeah.
So
So I'm not
yeah,
sure. So
this is
basically,
an advantage. Yeah.
what Sven is saying is this. So look at this, Jose. So you know you have your normal services, right? You have your
Hmm.
normal services in this one. So you have your normal, and you can decide to say you can specify the account that your service is running with, right?
Right.
So I can specify and say you're running with this account. So if I go and specify an account, So we can make this account a managed service account, which we discussed earlier, that it will automatically change the password and all that. But then the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, when you want to create the managed service account to use for this thing, you have to do it via PowerShell, which is what Sven is helping us with. So we have to create
Oh,
we
okay.
have to create it via PowerShell, and there's a process for that. So the process is what Sven is walking us with. So the
Gotcha.
first thing
Okay.
that he's doing is he's creating a KDS root key, and then Sven will explain as it goes on as to what he's doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
first of all, you have to create this KDS root key,
Mhm.
and normally you can use a switch at KDS root key, and then the switch is effective immediately.
Mhm.
But it will apply just 10 hours after that. It has to do with Active Directory replication of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's a little hack you can do, and then the KDS root key will apply it immediately.
Mhm.
And yeah, this should do the trick.
Yeah. Good one.
And now we got the root key,
Yeah. Good one.
and the next is service account in Active Directory.
Yeah. Good one.
Service account dash name, and we call it managed service account.
Yeah.
And you want some sort of
Yeah.
host name. Is it datum.com?
Yeah, it's adatum.com. Yeah.
Datum.com. Okay. Okay, and now when we look into Active Directory, there should be a new managed service account, and here it is. It's
Good
our
one.
managed service account.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you can see that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Carrie, so after that, what's the next thing that we'll do? So now we've created the service account. Now let's say we want to use it for a computer because there's still two more steps that we have to follow. So now we have a service account that we can use.
Yeah, and now when we got the managed service account, we have to make it available to a host computer.
Yeah.
And so we have to go to the host computer and run install AD service account.
But before we make it available to a computer,
Perhaps we have to enable it, right? Is it that?
it's not just enabling. Remember that we have a service account, but we have to link it to a computer account.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to link it, but install AD service account
So
doesn't
install
do
AD
this
service
command.
account is the last one.
Okay.
Or I could be wrong. This could be out of date information.
Okay.
So
we can run.
so
we can
actually,
run
you know what? You know what? I could be talking about managed service account again. This is group managed service account. So I could be because I was under if you normally if you create a managed service account, you create a service account,
Oh,
and then after you create
yeah.
a service account, you have to add computer service account. And then add computer service account is basically saying, but again, I think I'm wrong. I think this is for managed service account.
Yeah.
So I think the knowledge I've got is outdated. So I think this, so you're right. So we have to, so let's go ahead and link it
Yeah,
to a computer account.
perhaps you can just give it a try.
Let's see. So if I do get command,
Okay. Shall we try it on the domain controller, or?
yeah, let's do get command.
Install. Yeah.
So it's called AD computer service account, this one. So, but again, this could only be necessary for, let's just copy it. Get AD computer service account. Oh, sorry, add AD computer service account. So let's go to this one. Let's go add AD computer service account. What
Okay.
do you have to say? So that usually like in Server 2008, that's like the next thing that you have to do is add so now you have the service account, but now you have to link it to a computer. But again, I think that sounds like outdated information because this one you can use it on multiple computers. So add one or more computer service account to an Active Directory computer. Specifies the Active Directory computer that will host the new service account. service account to add. So does this apply to managed service account or group managed service account? Or let's go. Or does this apply to group managed service account? Yeah, I think we'll just carry on with what Sven is doing, because I think my mind is telling me that this looks like I've got outdated information on this. So these are managed service account work, and then we create the AD computer account, managed service account, and then we associate it with the target computer in Active Directory, and then we now go to install it on, go to install the AD service account.
And then install AD service account.
Yeah, but I think this is like, if I look up, I'm thinking this will probably be for 2008, and this will probably be just for managed service account, not for the new version of service account, which is the group. This is, it is 2009, yeah. So I think, sorry, outdated information. So carry on, carry on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Carry on, yeah. So just carry on with the number one.
Okay, then, shall we run it on the domain controller?
Yeah, we can use it on this computer also.
And perhaps we can try it without installing .NET 3.5.
Yes.
Just to be sure.
Yeah.
Install AD service account, identity msa.datum.com. So let's see what happens. Cannot find an object. Perhaps not full qualified.
Okay, yeah, it's not full qualified, yeah, just MSA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate that red text.
Okay, doesn't like it.
Another unspecified error has occurred. Okay, nice.
So, what do you think? You're thinking that this is .NET?
Yeah, I will try to install .NET. I think just when you the article you were just showing was about 2008 R2.
Yeah.
First, you can just give it a try. But perhaps you have to insert the 2012 R2 CD into the virtual machine.
Should we try to do the impossible? Should we try to see if we can get it from the internet?
No, it wouldn't work for 3.5.
Yeah, I think I've got the CD though. I've got the CD. So if I go devices CD, server 2012, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's choose one. So 2012 here we go.
Yeah.
It's in the CD now. Yeah. So let's. So I'm not sure, Ozzy, are you aware of the issue that Sven is talking about with installing .NET Framework 3.5 on server 2012?
Well, I think, not for server 2012, but I know for 2008 R2 it's necessary so you can install the latest version of PowerShell.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
You will see it. Here's a 2012 R2 server, and you just want to try to install the .NET feature.
Mm-hmm.
And by default, the binaries of the .NET framework has been removed from the 2012 server, and so he wants an alternative source. And if you just say, okay, install it from the internet, it wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
And you have to specify the alternate source path.
Mm-hmm.
Should be great. Okay, it should be the source is WinSXS or SXS folder. Yeah, should be this one. But sometimes this method doesn't work either. And then you have to uninstall some updates. And,
that's a mess.
Can be real fun, but perhaps we are lucky. But it's just with .NET Framework 3.5. I don't know why.
the other time,
Okay.
I was following like an
Perhaps.
instructor that I found online to use DISM. So I was using DISM to try to specify the source, all that stuff.
You know
Uh,
what I read the other day? I was reading the Microsoft book,
Y-
and it said
Yep.
Microsoft highly suggests you really know how to use DISM because if not, you can do some serious damage using that
okay.
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we don't, yeah, it's just strange, because normally, like most of the orders, it goes online. It's supposed to go online to get the binaries. That's what that's like the whole thing that you're doing with like the whole PowerShell stuff. If you go and say install this feature, it's not available locally. The guy just goes online and downloads it from Windows Updates. For .NET Framework, not sure. Yeah, so looks like it's going.
So far it looks good.
So
So
actually, while
Zen,
we're
did
doing
you?
that, let's edit, the mistake that I've
Yeah.
got written
Yeah.
here. So applies to server 2008 and 2012. So sorry, outdated knowledge or wrong knowledge. Can only be used for one computer. Yeah, can only be used for this one. Okay, so let's add this point also that by default, the new AD service account commandlet creates a group managed service account. So we need KDS root key created first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good one. Good one. Where let's see. Yeah, looks
Almost.
it's looking okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then after we do this, then what's the next step that we'll do? So then we install it. So after we install it, we just go to add it under the service, right?
Hmm.
And then we can start using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one. Very, very good one.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Very, very good one. So yeah, nice one. So I think let's see what else does Microsoft want us to know about this? How to configure managed service account, which is basically the thing that we're doing now, and then we
Yeah.
just finally describe group managed service account.
Yeah. Yeah. Perhaps you can make the description of group managed service
Yeah,
accounts.
so let's do that first. So group managed service account. So what's like the difference or the main thing about group managed service account? So Sven already mentioned it, so Sven can probably help us again. So group managed service account, what's like the
Yeah, it's like managed service accounts,
yeah,
but the group managed service account can be used for different machines at once.
yeah,
This is the main difference.
yeah, nice one. Can be used for multiple machines at once. So which is really, really good. Um yeah, let's see. Any other difference?
Good question.
Mm,
Um,
I can't think of anything.
no,
Um
me either.
yeah, but group managed service account will it work on server 2008 out group managed service account? Because I'm looking at the requirement for group managed service account here. And the requirement for group managed service account.
The Active Directory. The Active Directory has to be on I think on the 2008 R2 level or so,
See 2008 out to um
or 2012. I'm not quite sure, but I think you can just make an upgrade.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, because I won't think this will work for 2008 out to because I'm looking at the requirement here. The requirement says you must
uh,
have at least one domain controller
yeah, the
running
domain
server.
controller has to. Yes, one domain controller has to run Windows Server 2012, but
Yeah,
uh, I'm not quite sure about the domain functional level. I think
Yeah.
2008 R2 should be enough, but I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure about that.
Yeah, I would think so because basically managed service account only works on 2008 out. And
Let me ask you guys a question.
yeah,
When would you use a group service account? What would be an example of using one?
yeah.
Like when you got a service on a cluster, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to run the service
Mm-hmm.
on the same with the same account,
Mm-hmm.
you could use a group managed service account instead of a managed service account.
Yeah. So yeah. So basically, like you've got a service account that you want to use on more than one computer. So if you create a managed service account, you can only use it on one computer. But group managed service account, you can use it on multiple computers,
Right.
which is like the main differences between the two. And for example, you have like maybe an exchange account that needs, that you want to run an exchange service using an account. So you can create a group managed service account and run it with that. And then the good thing is the domain will automatically manage that account for you. You don't have to go into
Mhm.
that account and be changing the password. So you change the password in the domain, then go under that service and update the password. The domain will automatically do all that for you, which is really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so which is really cool. So basically, you have all these service accounts, which is really secure. Passwords are changing all the time, but you don't need to be involved administratively. It just happens
Um,
automatically. Good one, yay!
just yeah, I just read that for the managed service account,
Yeah,
the domain should be on the 2008 R2 level.
yep, nice one. So let's put that down.
Um,
Yep, in 2002.
but you can upgrade the schema,
Mm-hmm.
and then the managed service account will also be usable. But there there will you have to change the service principal names manually. It won't work automatically. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. This is
okay,
requirement.
okay. I see what you mean. So, okay, if we use it for Server 2008 R2, the downside is that the SPN won't be automatically updated.
Yeah.
So it has
Mm.
to be updated manually. But then
Yeah.
the thing is, can we use this group managed service account after we create them? Can we use them on servers that are running Server 2008? Because I'm seeing the requirement, and the requirement here is saying no. The requirement here is saying client computers using group managed service accounts must have Windows 8 and newer, and
Yeah.
server-based computers must have Windows Server 2008, 12 and newer.
Yeah.
So does that mean that we can't use them on servers on 2008 R2 servers?
Good question.
So it looks like that
Um,
from the
yeah.
requirement.
Yeah.
It says client must be running Windows 8 and newer. So maybe that means and for 2008 for 2008 also we still need to use managed service account. So I'm thinking, so what that will probably mean is that, so let's say we have a domain where we've got one server here. This is server 2012. One server here. This is server 2008 R2. So let's say server 2012, and this one is server 2008 R2. Uh, okay. So then the thing is, if we want to use group managed service account, the domain level has to be running on, like you said, has to be running on server 2008 R2, right? So that has to be the domain
Um,
level. But then if we want to use the managed service account, if we create it,
and you need at least one domain controller,
yeah,
um,
running this one,
which is 2012.
2012, yeah. So this one,
One
let's say,
one DC should
yeah,
be. Yeah. Yeah.
2012. So And let's say even this one is 2012, but then the domain functional level is 2008 auto. So if we create I didn't not managed service account. If we create the group managed service account, if I go here, create the group manage service account, but because the domain functional level is not server 2012, we cannot, the SPN won't be automatically updated, right? So because the domain functional level is not server 2012, the SPN won't be automatically updated.
I think the SPN will not automatically upgrade it when you don't have the domain functional level to 2008 R2.
You see?
When you
So
just
if we move it to 2008 R2, it will automatically update.
yeah, but it's just a theory. I haven't tried it. Yeah.
Okay. So that means if we have several, so actually let me see. You can update the Active Directory schema to is the domain.
You can. I'm just reading. So
Yep.
you can use the managed service account on 2008 R2 and on server 2012, and the group managed service accounts can just be used on
server
2012,
2012. Oh, okay.
2012 or newer. No.
Yeah, good one. Okay, so we can use managed service account on any one of them, and then the group managed service account can only be used on this one. But then with this one now, we said we have a server here called 2008 out. We say the domain functional level, because I'm reading here, it says to simplify and provide full automatic password and SPN management, we strongly recommend that ADDS domain be at server 2008 out2 functional level or higher. However, if you have a domain controller running server 2008 or server 2003, you can update the Active Directory schema to server 2008 auto to support this feature. The only disadvantage is that the domain administrator must configure SPN data manually for the managed service account. To update the schema in Windows Server 2008 or Windows Server 2003 mixed mode environment, you must perform the following tasks: AD prep, domain prep, deploy a domain controller running Server 2008 auto. Okay, so basically, even with this one, SPN will be automatically updated. Yeah, so SPN will be automatically updated this way. But then the thing is, we can only use the group managed service account on 2008, 2012 computers.
Yeah. So in this domain,
Yeah.
we could use group managed service accounts with automatically updated SPNs, but just on the left server.
Yeah, good one. Nice one. Excellent. Very clear. So Jose, is that clear?
A little bit.
That's like one of the reasons why it's good, like the preparation. Okay, yeah, carry on. So you have the mouse. Carry on and guide us through.
Okay. So we finally made it. Installing the .NET, and then we just give it a try, right? Perhaps if it doesn't work, we can reboot the machine.
Yeah.
Perhaps it will work out of the box.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. We can restart. No problem.
Perhaps we will restart the machine.
Yep.
Yeah. Always. Wait a second. Where's the jump bar? Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Power and restart.
Good one. Yeah. So,
they couldn't hide it any better.
But the good thing is, I tell you, like I'm much more clearer on group managed service account with this. I mean, it's much more clearer as to that. Okay. So okay, what other the thing that we're discussing, why the computer is coming back on. So what are the other things that we need to know about group managed service accounts? So we said the domain controller must be running this one. So domain functional level must run server 2008 out to support auto SPN management. Client must be running Windows Server 8 and newer or Windows 8 and newer or Server 2012 and newer.
Yeah.
Yep. What else? I think that's like all that at least I can see. That's like all. Um,
Yeah. I guess you also need the .NET framework.
yeah. Okay. Let's put that down. .NET
Yeah.
framework.
Yeah.
3.5 needed.
But
Let's
how
put that.
about Windows 8 clients? Is it possible to install the? Yes, of course, it
Yeah.
is possible. Yeah,
To
but
install.
it's not a feature because the client doesn't have a feature, but there's an installer for .NET Framework.
Yeah. And then we can use the service account on them.
Hmm, yeah. So, how is the domain controller doing?
Yeah. So then okay, yeah, let's see. Then the other thing, let me log into this one.
Yeah,
Let's go log in. The other thing is, let me see. There's one thing that I'm reading here that looks interesting. So which is on Windows Server 2012 domain controller, create a new managed service account by using the new AD service account commandlet with the principals allow with the principals allowed to retrieve managed password parameter. This parameter accepts one or more comma-separated computer account or ADDS groups that are permitted to obtain password information for the group managed service account. So the principals allowed to retrieve managed password parameter. Mm, so that's like yeah. So if you carry on with that, then
yeah, I try. There's a server still thinking. Yeah. Okay. Perhaps we
So
didn't
Zen,
answer.
did you take your 7410 exam yet, or
Not
you
yet.
still?
I will do it
Not yet.
in eight weeks. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah,
Sweet. I'm
yeah.
doing it in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I still got enough time.
yeah, keep
Yeah.
practicing test questions. Practicing test questions. Any area that you're weak, go read about it. Practice test question. Practice test question.
Yeah.
Any area that you're weak, go back, read about it. That's like the way. That's
MSA.
like the way. So from now on, just practice test questions. So install AD service account identity MSA.
Hmm.
Error cannot install service
Unspecified.
account. Error message an unspecified error has occurred. Um, install cannot install service account. An unspecified error has occurred. Hmm. So let's see. Install AD service account is definitely the right commandlet.
Hmm.
And if I go up, let's see. Um, yeah. So it does right. So that's definitely the right commandlet. Um,
Perhaps the account is not enabled.
Yeah,
be.
yep.
Perhaps.
So maybe if you get AD service account and set enabled, it costs true.
Oh.
Don't you like this one?
MSA. So perhaps we get some enable true. Okay.
Okay. Again, outdated information. So what could it be? Do we? I don't, because I do we still need? Yeah, I think we still need to add AD computer service account. So if you did that, if you add AD computer service account,
I know what the problem is.
what's the problem?
We just installed a group managed service account, and if we want an managed service account, we need the switch restrict to single computer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a yeah. Perhaps we can try it again with the switch. Wait a second. Add AD computer service account
Yeah.
dash identity MSA2.
Identity is the identity of the computer.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Restrict to single computer parameter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
AD.
Oh, you
Hello.
want to add the new AD service account?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the tab completion doesn't work.
Add a no, it's not add AD.
Hi.
It's new AD. It's
Ah,
new
it's not
AD.
add.
Yeah,
It's new. Ah,
new AD service account. PowerShell. Yeah.
it's getting late.
Yeah.
Dash name
Mhm.
dash MSA2 dash DNS.
Mhm.
Name MSA2 dot datum dot com
Mhm.
dash so
Mhm.
restrict. Hello. It doesn't. Something seems to be wrong because restrict to single computer parameter doesn't seem to fit. Restrict to single computer. Okay, I will try it, but
Mhm. So
to
what?
single
Yeah.
computer. Restrict to
The L.
yeah the L yeah single computer. Okay, we can try.
Mm. Where did you get that?
Perhaps due
Command?
to
The
the
one that I
DNS
have.
name.
The one that I have here.
Oh,
Is the one that I have here is
Is it?
there's a switch that says principals allowed to retrieve manage password.
oh.
So that seems
But
to be okay.
this one worked.
Is that case sensitive?
Shouldn't.
That's not.
No,
Yeah,
no, it
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
So you remove the DNS host
This
name,
one
right?
worked. Yeah.
If you get the AD service account, does it automatically create a DNS host name for you?
Get
AD service account. Then in my pipe, yeah, MSA2.
I guess it's disabled now. No, it's enabled.
And yeah, if you pipe in properties properties star, maybe it's going to show all the properties of the account. Hyphen
This one.
properties, hyphen properties.
The
So after that, so if you remove, yeah,
it doesn't work on
no,
the keyboard.
okay, if you remove the FL and just type in hyphen properties, then star, yeah, hyphen the dash properties.
Yeah, it doesn't work on my
It
keyboard.
doesn't. Oh,
Yeah,
that's strange.
doesn't work. Yeah.
What happened to
It
it?
works on my local computer, but
Okay, yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So does it
Does
create
does it work with every PowerShell command?
most of them, yeah, because PowerShell sometimes it hides information.
It's
So yeah,
like a general parameter.
yeah. So DNS
Okay.
host name is none.
Okay, can
Yeah, carry on, Sven.
can I see
Yeah.
the command again?
Mm.
This is interesting. I thought you would make something like this. What's it called? This it's not a dash. It's it's a pipe. It's a
the
pipe.
pipe, yeah,
Pipe parameter. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Normally I'm using the pipe parameter with format listwise, or I'm using a get member or something like that. But I didn't know the dash properties.
Yeah.
Nice one. Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, okay. So let's try it. We want to try to install this one.
Okay. So, okay, then, okay, and then we can try it again. Install AD service account identity MSA2. Yeah.
So the
Okay.
question now is what's like the difference? Why did they accept this one and not accept the first one? Because this one you restricted it to a single computer.
Yeah.
Does that mean it is a managed service account, not a group managed service account?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say something. So if you look at this one, object class, it says manage MDS managed service account, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's
Perhaps
do,
you can
yeah, let's
do
use
the
the one.
same for the MSA.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, if you carry on, Sven.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's do the
Object
same for
class.
MSA. Yeah, okay.
Object
So
class. It's a group
group
managed
managed
service
service
account.
account,
Yeah.
yeah. So that means if we use the restrict one,
Yeah.
it basically creates a managed service account. If we don't use the restrict to single computer switch, it creates a group managed service account.
Yeah.
But then the other
Absolutely.
question will be, how come the group managed service account did not install?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jose, any thought? How come the group managed service account did not install? So now we know, I mean, we created the managed service account now, it installed on the computer, but how come the group managed service account did not install?
Mm,
Let's see. Let's try this one. I see a switch here. So new AD service account. Let's call this MSA 3. So does that mean, okay, yeah, so this makes sense. Remember that you were saying that it requires DNS, and I was saying it doesn't
yeah.
require DNS. So the only one that requires DNS is the group managed service account, because the managed service account doesn't have a DNS name,
Yeah.
and it worked because the managed service account, if we look at it up, it doesn't have any DNS name, and it didn't automatically create it. So the DNS name, what is it? DNS, yeah. So DNS host name is empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas for the group managed service account, it required us because when we did it without the DNS host name, it complained.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we'll do is let's put this one. Let's create another one. Let's call it.
Yeah.
Actually, let's get Oze to do this. So Oze, if you create a new group managed service account, call it MSA3, and let's try something because we want to find out how come the managed service account installed, but the group managed service account did not install. So yeah, you can take over the mouse and do that, Jose. Is Jose there?
Jose is gone when you look at the camera.
Ah, okay.
He seems to be away from keyboard.
Oh, okay, sorry. We got Amin. Oh, sorry. I didn't even see that Amin's already joined. So Amin,
Yeah.
sorry. You may probably be wondering that what are we talking about since morning. No
Yeah.
problems, man. So did you just join now? Ah, okay, nice one. So it wasn't that long. So if you look, so you see the ID and the password in the chat window. So you can use that to connect to the server that we're using. So why no problems. Why Oze is away? So Sven, you can carry on. Let's create a new managed service account, but let's use the
Yeah.
different switch. There's a switch that I found online here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Same for me. So
yeah,
new
AD, yeah,
AD service
service
account.
account, yeah,
Dash name. Perhaps we can use it GMSA.
yeah, good one.
Then we need the
DNS
DNS
host
host
name, yeah,
name gmsa.datum.com.
yeah,
And I think you need the principals.
yeah.
Principals allowed to delegate account to.
Is it?
Um,
Yeah, the one I even saw
and
is principals allowed to retrieve managed password.
to to retrieve.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
not sure.
Principals
So
allowed to. Yeah.
to
To,
retrieve,
yeah. To retrieve managed password.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Dash
Londisi one,
51.
yeah, yeah. That's the.
Full qualified or
No, it's, they didn't use for qualified in the example there. So yeah, let's try that.
okay.
Let's see if it complains or gets
Okay.
angry.
Should be enough
Yeah,
or
I think it's
ah,
enough.
okay.
So what's it
um
complaining about? Identity info
London D
provided incorrect.
it doesn't find an identity London
Oh,
DC1.
hold on. If you try to ping Londisi one, I think it's
Yeah, but he tries to get an object in an Active Directory or something like that. I don't think that he uses
So what's he looking for? Because I'm sure. If I go.
perhaps we can
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. No,
Ah,
it's all right. Sorry about that.
no, that's perhaps we can use a group domain controllers or stuff like that.
Okay. Yep. Let's try that. Yep.
Wait,
But yeah,
wait,
the example I can see here, they use normal computers. Just use launch equal 1, launch equal 2, launch equal 3.
com-
Do we need to put them in? Yeah, in the.
perhaps something like this could work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
it
one is
worked.
okay. Okay. So let's try to install it now. Because my
Yeah,
MCSE one is definitely a domain controller. So let's
yeah,
install AD service account.
yeah. Install AD service account
Mm.
GMSA.
Um,
Yay!
yeah. So what? Oh, so it
Okay.
needs the principals allowed to retrieve. So otherwise, the
Yeah,
computer won't be able to retrieve the password to install.
yeah, yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense now. Man,
Because
I've learned a
otherwise,
lot with this demo that we've done, tell you.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's try to jot down our findings. So so number one thing that we found out is that uh to yep, we can see admin already joined. So let's put number one uh to create a managed service account rather than a um, group MSA, use the restrict to single computer, right?
Yeah,
Restrict to single computer switch. Um, to create the managed, so we're just doing the summary of our findings. So the
yeah,
summary of our findings is that number one, to create a managed service account rather than a group managed service account, we have to use the restrict to single computer switch. Number two thing that we found out, what's the number two thing? Is that
uh,
when creating a group managed service, or when creating a managed service account, the DNS host name is not required, right?
yeah,
But it is required for a group MSA. Then what other thing did we find out? Any other thing that we found out? Um, to before we can install a group MSA, we must use the what is the switch that we used again? Principals, right? Sorry, principals allowed to
to
retrieve
retrieve managed passwords.
password switch. Nice one. I mean, that's really, really nice finding.
Yeah,
Good one.
and take care of the tab completion in this case, because if you just type in principles and
Yeah,
hit tab, it
yeah.
gives you a similar looking result. It is obviously not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for tab completion
yeah,
when doing this. Good one. Great. Great. I mean, we found something out today. Nice ones. So I think that's about it for managed service account and group managed service
yeah,
account.
yeah.
Because according to like the objectives that Microsoft want us to be able to do, I mean, at the beginning, let's go back. Yeah, I don't think you will go back again because paint, I love paint. Yeah. So basically, Microsoft wanted us to be able to do something.
I got a last difference between a managed service account and a group managed
Good
service
one.
account.
Go for it.
And
Yep.
the difference is you can't use a managed service account for a scheduled task. You can
Good
just
one.
use group
Yeah.
managed service accounts for a schedule.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Difference between GMSA and MSA. MSA can't be used for scheduled tasks, whereas we can use a group managed service account for scheduled tasks. Good one. Excellent. So let's see, at the beginning of this particular area of this course, Microsoft said they want us to be able to describe service accounts, which we did. They said they want us to be able to identify, they said these are the lesson objectives. They want us to be able to identify the challenges of using standard user accounts for services, which we did. They want us to be able to describe managed service accounts, which we did. They want us to be able to explain how to configure managed service account, which we did practically. And they want us to be able to describe group managed service account, which we've done also. Wonderful. Wonderful. So let's see any other thing that they want us to do. Yeah. So after that, actually, on the manual, after that, the next thing is um, managing user and service account. But before that, there's one that is talking at the end. This one is capable delegation and service principal names.
Yeah.
So what's like? I'm not sure. I don't have like a deep understanding of that. Does anyone have an understanding of that? Capable delegation and service principal names.
Mm,
It says an application for a service might need to make a connection to another server's services on behalf of the client. For
like
example,
a Kerberos delegation.
yes, for service and service principal names.
I think service principal name is like when you identify a service
Hmm.
on a server, you need and you want to use Kerberos for authentication,
Hmm.
then you need a service principal name.
Yeah.
You can also see the service principal names in Active Directory users and computers. When you use advanced features, you can see the service principal
Yeah.
names
So in Active
under
Directory,
the attributes.
it says on computers,
Yeah,
and then we'll bring up the advanced features.
yeah.
Mm,
Advanced features, and then perhaps go to the domain controller.
the domain controller, sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
the normal computer would also be useful, but on a DC you got a lot of. There should be a tab attribute editor,
Yep.
and perhaps you can set the filter
Okay. Yep.
to just show attributes that have values.
Yep.
And then there should service principal
This one.
name.
Yeah.
When you double click, yeah, these are the for LDAP, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good one.
Yeah.
And this is needed in order to be able to use for Kerberos delegation. So trust this configure for delegation to any service.
Yeah, but I think service principal names and Kerberos delegation is something different. Huh?
Yeah, because here on the final tab, they said Kerberos delegation and service principal names. That's the title. So that's the final page of the manual. So now an
Yeah.
application for a service might need to make a connection to another server services on behalf of the client. For example, a client uses a front-end server to make a connection to a back-end server. So let's actually draw that out.
This is Kerberos delegation.
Yeah. So they said a
It's like
client.
okay,
Yeah,
I'm a user.
Yep.
And I'm talking to a web front end.
Yeah.
And then the web front end has to use my credentials, so
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
to authenticate to the back end.
Yeah.
And between the front end and the back end, there has to be the Kerberos delegation in place in order to work correctly.
Yeah. it says, okay, yeah, it says the client uses a
Mm.
front-end server that makes a connection to a back-end server. However, this connection needs authentication. Kerberos uses delegation of authentication to make this happen. The requesting
Mm.
service, the client in this example, which is this guy. So the requesting service, the client in this example, requests that the KDC authorize a second service to act on his behalf. So it requests the domain controller to authorize a second service to act on his behalf. So the second service can then delegate authentication to a third service. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
For all services, by using constraint delegation, you can configure service account delegation to specific set. I mean, do you have any ideas of this one? I mean, you there?
I think Armin's battery is running low
Ah,
for this module.
okay. Okay. My battery is dying. I can't
But he
find my
seems to
charger.
be still online. Uh,
Oh, sure. Nice one, man. Okay. Um, yeah, let's see. So, okay, ASPN is a unique identifier. Um, it says by using constraint delegation, you can configure service account delegation, specific set of service accounts. ASPN is a unique identifier for each instance of a service running on the computer. I think this one we'll probably need to read it more and then discuss it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think we need to read it more. So there's one that is outstanding on the Microsoft manual, which we need to discuss, which is uh, Cable's delegation and SPNs. So yeah, okay. So let's move on to the next topic for today, which is let's go back to the beginning. And the next topic for today, if I still have this one open, um, is Born to Learn here. Yeah, I think we have it in. Let's click on our event today, and then let's see what the next topic is. I mean, really excited because of the thing that we just did now. I think we really um, learned something from that. Okay, the next topic is um, configure domain controllers. Yay!
Yeah.
This one is fun. Configure, maintain Active Directory backup and recovery, redominate domain controllers. Okay, configure domain controllers, universal group membership caching, and all that. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Um, let's bring up this one. And let's go to the manual also, and let's see what Microsoft wants us to be able to do. So this is, if you have the manual with you, this is module 2 of the manual. And what does Microsoft want us to be able to do at the end of this? Okay, this is interesting. Um, Number one, they want us to be able to, let's see, module overview, let's say one overview. Yeah, they want us to be able to, number one, explain the structure of ADDS. This is nice.
Hmm.
The structure of ADDS. And the good thing is we might actually be on time today, which is nice. Explain the structure of ADDS. Number two is they want us to be able to implement virtualized domain controllers. Whoa. They
Hmm.
want us to be able to implement read-only domain controllers. They want us to be able to administer ADDS, and they want us to be able to manage the ADDS database. Okay, nice one. So where do we start from? Explain the structure of ADDS. So according to Microsoft, Microsoft says there are two components of ADDS. It says there are physical components and logical components. Does anyone know what they are? physical component and logical component. So that's the structure of Active Directory. So what are the physical components? And I think this is probably where we'll pause for today and then carry on with the rest. So what are the physical components of Active Directory? Anyone? Sven and Ozzy. Physical components of Active Directory, logical components of Active Directory. Of ADDS. Physical,
I
just
guess
to give you like an illustration of what they're talking about. They said data store.
yeah, I think the physical component should be or could be the ntds.dit
Yep,
file.
good one,
That
which is part
is,
of the data store, the ntds.dit. What else?
yeah, there are some sort of log files.
Yeah, good one.
Like these are the files that are due to be written to the database.
Yeah,
And there are also some files that are used in case that the file space is running out.
yeah, checkpoint
Checkpoint.
files,
Yeah,
and
right.
then placeholders.
Yeah, placeholders.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, so let's go under a domain controller and see that. So, um, let's see. Yeah, so Oze, so where do we find these files in Active Directory? These physical files that we're talking about. You can take over the mouse and just browse to where do we find these files? So we said we're talking about the component of ADDS. Microsoft said they're physical components, they're logical components. One of the physical components are the data stores or the actual files of Active Directory. So where do we find them?
Let's see here.
So let's guide you there. So if you go under the C drive and then go under Windows and then go under NTDS. Yep, and then go under NTDS. There we go. So these are the files. So what's the first one? The very first one. What does that do or what does that mean? The very first file, edb.chk. What exactly is that doing?
It's checking something.
Yeah. What about Ven? I mean, what's that doing? edb.chk. What's that doing? So basically, to quickly run through
It should
that,
do something like
yeah, carry on.
Stores the database checkpoint.
Yeah, it is. It's a checkpoint file. That's the checkpoint file. But what does that mean when we say checkpoint file? What do we mean when we say dot the checkpoint file? What are we talking about? So for example, so Active Directory is an extensible storage engine database. And the way extensible or ESC database or extensible storage, the way those kind of databases work is you have your database here, right? Now, before writing anything into this database, you write them into log files first, right? So I want to write ABC into this database. Now, I won't just go ahead and write it directly into the database. I'll write it into this log file first, ABC. Why? What's the reason of doing that? Why will I do that? Why will I write it into a log file first before? Why can't I just go straight to the database, write whatever I want to write? That's it.
perhaps the database is corrupted or
Yeah, so in case to protect against something like what happens if I'm writing, if ABC comes in and I just go and say, yeah, I'll just go ahead and write, you know, ABC directly into the database. I don't need to put it anywhere else. I just say, I'll just go ahead and write ABC directly into the database. But while I'm writing A and B, the domain controller goes off. And all
yeah.
of a sudden, I'm like, oh, hold on. So when the domain controller comes back, domain controller has no idea what it was doing before. It's like I have no idea that I've not written C. I just know I was writing something and the computer went off and I have no idea what's going on. So that's why those kind of scenarios can corrupt the database quickly. But before it writes it, it first of all writes ABC into the log file. Then it then has the checkpoint file. The point of the checkpoint file is to monitor the transaction that are written to a database. So once it goes and says write A to a database, so it goes and writes A here. Checkpoint files goes and says, yeah, A has been written to a database. It says write B, so that if in case this computer were to go off at this point, if it comes back on, it can check the checkpoint file and say, what have I written last to database? What are the things left in the log files that I need to write? So basically, if the computer powers off and comes back on, I know exactly where I stopped. I can pick up from there and continue. So that's how the extensible storage engines, that's how they work. They have log files, they have checkpoint files. So it writes A. So again, if you write B into this one and says I write B, it's going to come here and says, well, B is now written into a database. So if the thing was to go off and come back on, you know exactly where it stopped, you know exactly where to start again. Is that clear,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So then the next thing is we've got this EDB file. So what are these EDB files? What are the EDB files? What are the EDB files? So actually, if we go here, you know what the EDB files are, which says show file extension. You can see
Yeah.
.log. So the
These are
EDB,
just the log files you were talking about.
exactly. So these are just the log files. So any transaction before it's written. So this one, what do you think this database will be? This is the ntds.dit file. So before it writes anything here, it writes them to the log files first, and then as it's writing them, it's storing them here. So this one knows exactly what has been where it's what exactly last point it reached before anything goes off. And then these are the actual log files. So it will create them. So if this one gets filled up, EDB002, it will create EDB003. And I think it will create them up to 10 files, and then it will start deleting them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then it creates.
So it deletes them on its own, or you gotta
Yeah.
go in there.
So then it gets to .10, it deletes 2 and creates 11. It deletes,
Okay.
3 and creates 12. So basically starts deleting them that way. So what
Okay.
about
So
this?
your your Active Directory isn't very old, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What about the
Or your
rest?
your C drive that runs out of space.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting, the one you brought up now, because that will help us to explain what these next files are. JRS. What are these JRS files?
These are the placeholders.
Exactly.
So
So
in
these are the
case
placeholders.
the C drive is running out of disk space.
Yep. Good one.
Oh,
So what
okay.
that means is, let's say all of a sudden the C drive is about to run out of disk space, but this log file is like, I still have a lot of transaction to write, you know? So the placeholder are basically empty files that are just taking up, 20 meg of the space on the C drive. So if this one were to say, the C drive is like, I'm running out of disk space, it's like, hold on, I still have 20 meg that I can delete and make available just for you alone. So you can quickly write whatever you want to write to ntds.dit. You get the point?
Yeah.
So this is like a
Yep.
protection mechanism, sort of. So let's go to the next one. The next one is edb temp.log file. So this is, yeah, what it's just another log file. Then temp.edb is another one. What does temp.edb do? Anyone? Temp.edb, what does it do? Yeah, Sven or Ozzy.
Um,
So
not
so this is a bit similar to the checkpoint. The information it says it's a scratchpad used to store information about in progress large transactions. To hold pages pulled out of ntds.dit during maintenance operation. So I'm not too sure exactly, but I think that sounds more like the checkpoint. But how it differs from the checkpoint, I'm not too sure. But at least those are like that's like part of the yeah. You want to say
I'm
something,
just
Sven?
reading that the emd temp.log is some sort of template for the log files.
Okay.
And with Windows Server 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like a framework for the way the log files will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yep, good one. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to this one. So we got let's go back to yeah. So we got our data store, the physical components of Active Directory. What other components do we have? The physical component of Active Directory.
What about this wall? Is it also a physical component?
Which one?
This wall. This wall. Is this a physical component?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Which one?
Well, I think
One
yeah.
one that Microsoft mentioned. Microsoft said domain controllers.
Ah, okay.
So there are physical components also of Active Directory. So what are domain controllers? Straightforward and simple. What are domain controllers? So you're in an interview, Oze, asking you what are domain controllers. What would you say?
I mean, basically, the main controllers are your main AD. Your domain controllers are your servers that have ADDS installed on them.
Your servers that have ADDS installed on them. Yep, good one. Sven, do you
And
want to add anything?
yeah, I think every domain controller has a copy of ntds.dit.
Good one. So they have a copy of the Active Directory database.
Yeah,
So just the domain controllers are the servers that have ADDS installed. They have a copy of your Active Directory database. So a
yeah,
copy of your ntds.dit sits on all your domain controllers.
yeah,
Yeah, and usually a writable copy of entities.it sits on all of them, and you
yeah.
can edit on all of them except their read-only domain
Read
controllers.
only domain
Yeah,
controllers.
which is the next one that Microsoft mentioned,
Yeah.
RODCs, which are read-only
Mhm.
domain controllers. So what are read-only domain controllers?
No, they got the read-only copy of the ntds.dit.
Good one. Only a read-only copy of ntds
So,
dot dit. Yeah, carry on, Jose.
I think read-only domain controllers, I guess, receive replication but don't replicate back to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yeah.
to the main domain
Mhm.
controller.
Mhm.
And
So
read-only domain controllers also doesn't replicate all of the attributes
yeah,
of every user, especially passwords. And
yeah,
um,
Right.
you can replicate the passwords to the read-only domain controller, but you don't have to.
yeah,
Yeah,
especially password. Good ones. So the whole point of read-only domain controllers, which we talk about, is part of the things that they want us to do, implement our DCs, which we talk about next week, is that we have domain controllers where there's like all our objects are on there, but not all the attributes are synchronized, especially security-related attributes. They are not put on it. So in case, you know, you put them in a site that is not physically secure, someone was to get a hold of it. For example, if you think about it, Jose, like you have in your, let's say in an environment like in my current environment, we have security guys, people in the security team. And one of their
Mhm.
job is to do penetration testing. And one of the things that they do is they take the ntds.dit file, they extract the hashes of the password from them, and then they run dictionary attacks on those passwords to find out users that are using weak passwords. So that means if you can get your ntds.dit file, you can get the password of all the users because you can extract the hash of all these passwords from the ntds.dit file. So that's what they do because it's a
Huh.
security company, so they have to be careful because their whole business is security. So if you're a security company and somebody is able to hack into you, your business is in trouble, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so they have a security team that basically just does penetration testing on the internal network to find out. So they take the ntds.dit file, extract the hashes of the password. But the thing is, you cannot do that with read-only domain controllers by default. You take it because the passwords are not replicated on it, so you can't extract the hash of the password from it. So it's
Right.
usually for a site that there's low physical security. So maybe you have a site somewhere, that you have your headquarters where you have cards to swipe in to get to the domain controller, but then you have a branch somewhere that the domain controller is sitting on the desk. You're like, yeah, you have to protect this. Yeah. So read-only domain controller, and then the last one that Microsoft mentioned of the physical components are global catalog servers. This one is a bit confusing to many people. Global catalog servers. So what are global catalog servers? What are they? Global catalog servers. And this is where we end for today, and then we'll pick it up from there because it's 11 o'clock already. So we finish on time, and then we'll pick it up. So what are global catalog servers? What are they?
One, I think you only can have one global catalog server in your domain.
Not really. You can have more
No.
than
No?
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Actually, Microsoft recommendation, and this one is really, really important.
Yeah.
Make it like a mantra. Every DC should be a GC. I remember in the class, my instructor kept mentioning that. Microsoft recommendation is every DC should be a GC. Every
Yeah.
domain controller should be a global catalog server. That's Microsoft's recommendation. Now, some
Yeah.
people disagree with that, but that's Microsoft's recommendation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and when not every domain controller is a global catalog server, then you
Yeah.
can't put the infrastructure master
hmm
and the global catalog server on the same server.
Yeah.
But if every domain controller in the domain
Yeah.
is a global catalog server, you can run the infrastructure master and the global catalog server on the same server.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is the reason for this best practice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what's the reason? So what's the reason people don't do it? I guess because of the replication
Yeah,
burden.
exactly. That's like
Yeah.
one reason why people give for, like, they say, well, with the replication not be too much. But then people say things like, but then if you think about it, people say things like, modern networks have developed from networks of, 10 years ago, where you've got 2 meg, you know, even just normal broadband or normal VDSL, with fiber connection, internet connection will give you, decent speed.
Right.
And stuff like that. So, but then what's the whole point of global catalog servers? What are they doing?
I think the global catalog server has stored a subset of all objects in the whole forest,
Good one. So,
and it's used for searches.
so you have your forests, which again we'll talk about as part of this discussion. So we'll talk about that one probably next week also. So we have a forest. So the forest has different domains. All these domains have different objects. The global catalog server will store a copy of all the objects in all the domains in the forest. But it won't store all their attributes. It will only store a subset of their attributes. And what is the subset called? The partial attribute set.
Oh.
Yeah. Which we'll get into this one next week. Yeah. And so basically the global catalog, so it makes it easy. So if you think about it, think about it. So you have like maybe a domain controller here. You have a forest there. Let's delete all this first of all, and let's just quickly go. You have a forest there, and then you have like all these domains and all these domains. Now let's say the guy here wants to access a resource here. The guy in this place wants to access a resource here. Instead of going to like contacting this one every time it wants to access a resource here, it has on the global catalog server, it has all the objects of this one here. And it has the most important object that can tell it where to find this one. Or the main one other main thing is things like universal groups. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, what about universal groups that doesn't go outside? So it's like, I can find, whether this guy is a member of this group right from here. I don't have to go talk to this guy all the time. So just make like what Sven said, it makes searches easier. So this is where we pick it up from next week. So we'll pick this up from next week. We'll talk about logical components, which Microsoft described, a lot of stuff as logical component, which is the interesting stuff of Active Directory, partitions, the schema, and we'll dig deep into that. We'll dig deep into replication, where we start talking about things like, I watermark value, things like which other one? What did they call the other one? So the first one is high watermark value. The other one is up to dateness value. and all the stuff that Active Directory uses for application. So yeah, let's be on time today. I mean, the time is 11 o'clock already, so we're done for today. But today, in my opinion, has really been productive. So we'll pick it up from next week. So next week, let's actually bring up what we're doing next week. So we've got this event. So this is what we did today. Next week, what are we doing? Let's bring this one up. So next week is let's view all upcoming events. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, 20. Yeah. So next week we're doing. No, this is not next week. Yeah, this is not next week. This is the week after. This is next week. So next week we're doing maintaining Active Directory, which is what we started, and configure secure account policy. And then after that, we'll do group policy, which is this one. And then I think we're done. Configure group policy processing and group policy settings. And then we're done with 7411. So just two more hangouts, done with 7411, and then we can move to 7412. So nice one, guys. Nice one. Productive hangouts. I love it. I think this is like probably one of my best hangouts. Got a lot of things out of it. Yeah, it's good.